Wonderful. Here's what I would love to do. I'm going to have quickly. Oh, did you guys sit? No, you didn't. Oh, man, you ruined the whole thing.
Oh.
We got to get up. I'm just kidding. So really quickly, we have Sam, and then we have Julie on the other end, and then we have Vicky, and we have Malin. Can we give a huge, warm welcome with a round of applause for them as they come and share? Carrie, take it away for us.
I am really excited to have this particular group of people with us today. They are all extremely involved in local business, whether they're a business owner, a business manager, or part of a business organization that helps local businesses. So we're going to do something a little interesting this year. If you were here last year, you know that we had a microphone that we were running up and down. We're not doing that this year. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to text your questions into me. So they're going to introduce themselves. And as they introduce themselves, if you have a question about small business, anything that they say that strikes your interest, anything that you want to know more about, feel free to text me. I think we have an asset. Do we have an asset for that, or am I just shouting out my phone number that they're texting? At the bottom.
Can you see it?
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
What can I do?
We can lay it back.
Shout it out. Okay, write this down. 208 308 5403. And that's the phone number you'll text. So we're doing this a little different this year, so we're testing it out. So we'll see how it goes. So we're going to start over with Sam, and she's going to introduce herself.
Okay. I'm Sam Buffalo. I'm with Twin Beans Coffee Company. It's a family-owned business. I get to own it with my father, and we run it with some of my sisters. We got started in coffee about 14 years ago is when we started roasting. And we've always, as a family, had a passion for coffee and for good food, and that's how we've connected with each other. And so when we had the opportunity to start to learn more about roasting and craft coffee, it was an easy step to take that to the farmer's market and have the privilege of introducing our community to this really, really cool product. And then we had the opportunity to open a coffee bar downtown almost 10 years ago. And so we've had the privilege of getting to see downtown grow, getting to be part of our community in that process. Our vision has always been world-class coffee and hometown hospitality. And so we love coffee, but we really, really love people. And our goal is to provide a space that's welcoming, that makes people feel seen, makes people feel cared for, and sometimes still I look around at what we're doing, and I'm like, we get to do this? We get to do this? Really? We're doing what we love, and we're doing it with the people we love, and that's such an insane privilege.
So one thing I have to bring up is your core values are posted right on your wall. Yeah. Tell me what they are.
Yeah. Excellence, kindness, and curiosity.
All right, Malin, you want to?
Sure, I'll have at it. My name is Malin Erke, and I work at Milner's Gate. I am a mama to 3 beautiful children. I'm the luckiest wife in the world because he's everybody's favorite guy. And I get to work here in this great community. I started in the restaurant industry almost 12 years ago at Elevation 46, and I had no interest in food and beverage. But I quickly became really good friends with one of my favorite people, Tom Nickel, who owned Elevation at the time, and we became good friends. And I learned quickly that food and beverage isn't about food and beverage, it's about people. And this community is where Chris and I decided we wanted to be, and Tom presented us with an opportunity to take some of our expertise downtown. I tell people all the time that I'm really good with the people we work with. I love building and growing myself. I love personal development, and I love influencing other people that I work with. Chris loves the people that come in through our doors, and so together we feel like we make a pretty great dynamic duo of growing the people in our doors and then bringing in the guests and showing them what Twin Falls is all about. And it's a pleasure to be able to represent Twin Falls on a small scale and provide the same kind of experiences. Somebody said earlier today, at a table with food and beverage is the best place to have conversation and to connect with people, and we do that every day, and we love it.
Vicki, would you like to share?
Yes, my name is Vicky Fajardo. I am the program director for the Idaho Women's Business Center here in Twin Falls. We have been here for about 3 years now. We recently moved here on Main Street, and you are all invited to visit our wonderful office. We are going to have an open house next week, so just FYI for everyone. It is on Thursday, but our mission is about serving all women from all walks of life, from all cultures and all backgrounds, and we strive to help them with navigating the aspect of starting their business. If they have an idea, we want to be there, and we want to hold them by their hand and just walk them through that process, because it's scary. And sometimes when you don't have the knowledge and the proper resources or tools, it can be very challenging. And so we're there to provide them with the resources, and also just to have a mentor, someone that can help them and guide them through that process. My parents also were entrepreneurs. They had a business in Jerome for several years, and were very successful. But I just think about, wow, like, you know, if they would have had a center that could have provided them with the resources and some of the tools that we teach there, and some of the training opportunities and education, I just can imagine like how much more they could have accomplished. And so that's why I'm so passionate about educating everyone and really helping them through that process and make it a very seamless and more enjoyable experience.
Next, I'd like to introduce Julie. Some of you might have seen the poster. We had originally had Liz Hall that was going to be our panelist, but she moved like on a dime. And I reached out to Julie to step in and help us with the panel, and she graciously accepted. And I'm really excited for you guys to meet Julie.
My name is Julie Underwood, and I am the founder and owner of Focus for Leaders. And for me, leadership has been a journey. My background is in education, and I've had my hand held for a while by Vicki, and I've really appreciated that. But I just am passionate about leadership. I define myself as a leadership junkie. I love any leadership podcast, anything like that, and personal development and growth is what I love to do. And so now I'm getting to live my passion, because with Focus for Leaders, I do training, coaching, and speaking, and get to help people discover how all of you guys are in that process. And it's just so exciting, and it's been such a blessing today to be with my people who appreciate personal growth and leadership and are igniting other people, and just, it has been so great. I so appreciate you, Carrie, and I appreciate you inviting me and letting me share this opportunity. So it's very fun.
So before we get started with the real questions, I got to read a couple of them. First of all, we have not a question, but thank you, Sam and Malin, for providing an incredible space for people to meet, live, and share experiences. Downtown Twin is not the same without your establishments.
Love it.
Yeah. That's really true. That's really true. That's awesome.
And then I can answer this one. How did you find the prettiest ladies in town? I got my husband's help.
Senate.
We vetted them, 1 to 10. And I think we won. We won. All right, so the first question I want to ask is why do you think, and you don't all have to answer every question, but if one resonates with you, please jump in. Why do you think it's important to support local businesses in your community?
I can jump in. One of the reasons that I think it's important is obviously economically it makes a lot of sense. But when you're supporting local, for me specifically, and Sam can probably relate, we have a lot of people from all walks of life that come through our doors to work. Some are teenagers with their first job. Some are people going to college who just moved to Twin Falls and haven't experienced the Magic Valley yet. Some are people who have lost their way and are trying to kind of get their feet back underneath them. So when you're supporting local, you're supporting people. And for us specifically, we're trying to grow each individual that comes through our doors. Some are there for a long time, and some are there, we know, for just a small season. And so when you're supporting local, you're supporting people and their opportunity to thrive in our community. And obviously, of course, that's a reciprocated support system, for us specifically anyway.
I'll answer that one too. I think that when we support local businesses, we're reinforcing our own culture. I mean, the Magic Valley is a unique place. And I think we have some unique things. And you can see by the business owners that are here and all the business owners out here, there are unique things that are created and done and that happen when we support local business. Like, I just think of like Prime and Press. I mean, that is so us, right? And no one else does it like that. And, you know, Twin Beans. I mean, it's coffee our way. It's family coffee that's generational coffee. You know, I mean, it's just, to me, it creates this deep roots of culture to support local business.
I think, in adding on to that too, Julie, the Idaho Women's Business Center, we do that as well. And I think, you know, our mission says it as well, where we want to support culture and we want to support diversity. And there's so many business owners out there that come from different backgrounds, just kind of, you know, similar to what we've expressed, but also like our children, if you have children, and if you don't, kind of like Sean said, not judging, but our children are going to be the next generation that's going to be holding, you know, very important positions, and we want them to be successful, and we want them to have good leaders and be able to also believe that they can, you know, do and build businesses, be successful, and have generational wealth, which I also think is so important for a lot of our families. And so it's so important that we lend them a hand and support them.
I just shared all of that, but also local businesses are your guys' values too. Like, it's our community is all of us, and so big business is never going to be aligned with our local values the same way. We're not going to be running the same direction in the same way as the local business owners with the people of our community.
When I think of local, I really liked what you said, because my heart really is in downtown. I'm here a lot. If you are looking for me, we're somewhere down here. But for me, local is more than just like a mom and pop shop. You think about some of the large organizations that have bought into our community, right? They do good things in our community. And I'm looking, even if it's a big bank, right? If they're doing the right things in our community and they're supporting our community and they're giving back to our community, that's where I want to go. I want to go to Milner's Gate for lunch. I want to go get my coffee fix way too often at Twin Beans. The Women's Business Center has given me a little push and a little shove here and there. It's really excellent. And meeting Julie, we had an incredible conversation. We were going to meet for 20 minutes and sat there for 2 hours at a local business, and it was really great. So I have several questions come in, so let's look through them. How do you balance passion and dedication for your business with taking care of yourself?
Oh, those are fighting words for me. Last year at the summit, one of the challenges we had was to look at our language, and one of the first words that I personally cut out was the word balance. So we'll start there. I don't think balance is an attainable word. I think a lot like what Jason shared with the J Foundation, at Milner's we created a web where you take the aspects of your life, whatever those aspects are, and you look at them on a regular basis, and you do self-checks and see where you're landing, to be able to find rhythm and momentum between those things. So I don't know that we necessarily are able to balance those things, but when we start with ourselves and look at ourselves first and check those aspects like Jason showed us, then we can look at those other areas and see how we can improve, and our focus is a little bit more directed in how to find, I say this to my team a lot, we got to find rhythm and momentum between those things. That means sometimes I can't put as much time into some aspects of my life because right now I'm putting time into this, but knowing that there's an ebb and flow between those is kind of how I find my drive for passion, is because I know the balance isn't always going to be there, but I got to recheck myself.
I love that point, because when I'm training and coaching too, balance, people think equal, like equal scales, and that's never the way life works. So I like rhythm. What was rhythm and what?
Rhythm and momentum.
Momentum. I use integration, that we are going to integrate, but I love rhythm and momentum. That's cool, because there are times where momentum has got to be, you know, towards family or towards business. So yeah, definitely I love that you made that point, that it's not balanced, and that we have to start with ourselves first. I mean, that's super important. And someone said it earlier today that we start by leading ourselves. That was on I think the summit map or the mountain. I wrote it down. I take notes. But in the mountain thing, that we've got to lead ourselves first, and I think that's the most important thing. And so we have to make sure that we have some rhythm and some, there's a phrase called the rhythms of grace, and I think sometimes that's it, because we need to give ourselves grace, because it's hard to keep it all in balance or in integration.
Grace is my core value.
I love it.
Grace is my core value. Offering grace and accepting grace and asking for grace when you need it.
Absolutely.
I would just share that I think for me, I realize that things are getting out of whack rather than out of balance. When I'm not being honest about what I need and not sharing those roles with my team, leading alone has always left things not as they need to be. And so that has sometimes meant my energy needs to be poured into equipping leaders better, so that they're, and also delegating and trusting them to take on roles. But leading alone is never balanced for me.
I think it's all just about having balance and understanding what priorities we have. And over lunch, I met a company that only works 4 days a week, and I was like, wow, that is amazing. Where are they? I was like, talk about like life, and job balance. I really connected with like their values, and I think it's so important not to lose sight of our goals and our professional goals, but also like still understanding that our family is so important too, and just finding that balance.
A lot of these coming in. We're not going to get to every one of them, but we'll do our best. This one says, tell us about a time your business was hitting a wall. What caused it, and how did you get through it?
It's a good question. It's a vulnerable question. I want to jump first? No?
I can go. We're hitting a wall right now at Milner's. If I'm being real honest, I'm so stoked that our team is here today, because we go through seasons. So we're busy season, and we're slow season, we're busy season, and everything is looking forward, trying to prepare for that next one. Being in downtown is exponentially difficult, because we hear all the time, you guys are the hot spot. But if you come in certain times of the year, it's not so hot. It does get slow, and that definitely changes. It has a shift in culture, and we've felt recently our team feels like we're hitting a wall. We're not as busy as we like to be. The weather's not providing what it usually provides for us in May for that speed up to summer. And it is impacting the flow of people downtown and our business. And, I had one of our employees the other day say, I just feel like everybody's kind of going through the motions. And I said, hold tight, we're going to the summit. We'll be back in a minute, and you better be ready for it. But we hit that, and it's what I feel is going to work for our team is having moments like this where we recheck ourselves and looking through those core aspects of our life, reminding ourselves of where we're at, where we want to shift our focus to gain that momentum. And then also, some of the goals I set today sitting down is like, we need to talk about our core values a little bit more often. We need to say our mission statement a few more times. Things like that, being able to stop, reset, and re-energize ourselves to head into the next season is kind of, we're at that wall right now. We're going to get through it, but we're at that wall right now.
I like what Sam said, that doing business alone is not easy. And I was a solopreneur, so I think sometimes partnerships. I've partnered with JJ and Always Developing Leader, and we're doing trainings and things together. And I think that it's good to partner, and I think that's part of local business too. When we come alongside local businesses, we're partnering with our community, and we're partnering with people in the community and supporting them. And I think that just helps all of us, because things like today, where we come together as a community and refresh and revive, I think, and it lets us know, oh, these people can help me with that, and they can help me with this. And I think when we look at it as a web of relationships, because that's my big drum I beat all the time, is everything is about relationship. And I just think it's so important. And so I think absolutely, and you're talking about touching on all those relationship points, our mission, our core values, all those things. And I think that's the way to go, to refresh when you hit a wall. And it's hard doing it by yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's probably only a few people who haven't experienced a wall post 2020. I think we're all pretty tired, at least at some point. And so my wall hit pretty hard last year, and I was able to get away to an event like this and get some more training and encouragement. And one thing that was said during that time that really stuck out was the difference between burnout and exhaustion is exhaustion can be helped with rest. Burnout is only helped through wholeheartedness. And that was so pivotal for me to be like, okay, it's not, no nap will get you through burnout. There's not enough naps. And so redefining, again, like you said, re-speaking our whys. Why are we doing this? Has the why changed? Does our why need to be re-looked at? What are we doing and why? Because vision gives the momentum and gives the energy.
Well, and I think like I think it was Billy that said earlier, like you can say it all day long, but somebody's got to put it into action and get to work with it. And so putting in the follow-up of once you reevaluate those, how are you going to get your team or yourself, if you are on your own, through that wall with some action.
I think it happens a lot. I even see it with a lot of different business owners where they come in and, they're overwhelmed or they're exhausted or they're going through a difficult time. And it's just, I think, what we're all talking about here today, just like linking arms and partnering up. And there's a power in unity, right? And so I think that when you unite forces, you unite knowledge, you can create some phenomenal things. And I think that's where power is, so.
It's really hard. I'm looking down at some of these questions because I want the next one queued up, but it's really hard because I want to hear every single word they're saying. So I have one coming in. I think this one's Vicki specifically, but then let's all try to answer this one. With what you do, I think is why this one is so important. Other than spending money, how can small businesses and small business owners and entrepreneurs be encouraged and supported in starting and growing their businesses?
That's such a good one. There's so many different things that they can do in order to grow and support their businesses. I think just kind of going on off of that, partnering up. I think also just like looking to the local businesses and local organizations and seeing where they need some of their help. We have a mentorship program at our organization, and we're always looking for, skilled and experts in the community that are willing to lead some mentoring circles, some coaching circles, because there's help needed everywhere. And so if you can volunteer by leading a mentorship circle, a mastermind, there's a lot of opportunity for those too. We've seen a lot of great businesses excel to different levels by participating in masterminding, and so there's a lot of power in that as well.
I think just to jump in, social media is free. So a share, a like, a follow, those are huge for a lot of, especially small businesses where marketing budgets or ways that they're trying to get the word out. Of course, we're all going to use the free ones, and it's not hard to hit like and share. A lot of us spend a lot of time on our phones. I know I'm guilty. One of the things I wrote down today was to not scroll so fast past the people that I'm following, and I made notes of people I wanted to follow on social media. I didn't think I was, because it's simple. It's simple to share events happening in our community. We hear a lot, I think I was talking earlier with Senate, people want live music, but nobody ever shows up to live music unless that specific musician has a huge following. So it's hard to pay a musician, to empty your seats, to make room for that musician, do those things, and then people don't show up. And I wonder, the curiosity of, even if you can't attend, what would your share, your like, or your awareness of knowing what they're up to be able to tell your network of people what's going on in our community. That's how we love on each other and don't spend a dime.
I know I'm on my phone a lot, and I really like to see what the local community is doing. When Senate and I have grown children, so we, Friday night comes along, we're like, what are we gonna do? And so we always go to our phones, we go to Facebook, and we look up events. And that's what we decide what we're gonna do, whether it's going to hands-on for paint and sip, Kodo for live music, we're gonna go to Milner's for dinner, Twin Beans closes early, but I'm there way too much, you guys. But we look for those things that are happening. We have O'Duncan's that does the St. Patty's celebration, and really big into Oktoberfest downtown. And so I know that's the first place that I go to look is what's happening locally. And even if we're not going to go, I mean, what harm is it in saying, hey, guys, this is going on downtown tonight. If you're bored, head out. Enjoy. Let's see. Listening. I wasn't looking. I have one for you two. As local restaurant owners, how do you build the pride and belonging in your culture to keep your employees?
Want to go first? Go for it.
This is something that I think we are going to continue growing into. Post-2020 world for restaurants has, I think, made us evaluate things that formerly worked and maybe aren't working as well, and so there's pivoting that has definitely happened. It was said earlier today, money used to be the main motivator, and that's not true anymore. And so creating a culture of appreciation, I so resonate with that. That is so important. We talk a lot about our core values, and part of that as a business owner comes from hiring well, hiring people who resonate with that and are going in the same direction. Vision is not something I can train. You have to want culture, and you have to want the vision alongside us, and we talk about that with our team on a regular basis. This is not a top-down culture where I walk in and say, this is how we all think and feel and move. You have to want a culture that's healthy too, and you guys hold each other accountable to that, and that's far more functional than an expectation of the mean boss coming in and fixing it after there's a problem. And it's created a culture of buy-in from our team when we hold our values high and hold our vision high and hire for that vision of people who want the same things and care about the same things. Do you care about seeing people? Do you care about an excellent product? Do you care about that? If you do, I can train you on the other stuff. So.
Yeah, I'll just touch on that. I think Billy nailed it earlier today, and then you followed up with it, is people did pre-COVID, money mattered. And it doesn't matter anymore. It's not the same. And so for restaurants specifically, we see high turnover. That's always been a thing. One of the things we pride ourselves on at Milner's is the high retention rate we have had post-COVID. And I think a lot of that has to do with we implemented core values, and we implemented a vision statement, and we took it very seriously. We're on a journey, and we have not figured it all out. But a few of the things that we've had is the opportunities of the one-on-ones. And when we talk to people, most of the time, and this resonated from last year's summit, and we've used it a lot, is a lot of times when people aren't communicating well, is because they're not communicating with clear expectations. So if I have an expectation for my team, but they don't understand that same expectation, it's not fair for me to come down on them for mistakes they've made when they don't have the same clear vision that I have. So sometimes those one-on-one conversations allow us an opportunity to realign goals, make sure that we're seeing the same vision and head in the same direction. And most of the time, my perspective of a situation is very different than the person that's implementing whatever's going on. And so when we have those conversations and we find a common ground of direction we need to go, people want to be there. They feel valued, they feel seen, they feel heard. And together you move forward and people want to be there. One of the goals Chris and I have for our team is we recognize that we hire 16-year-olds for their first job, like I said earlier, people who are lost a little bit in life and trying to get back on their feet. So we recognize that not everybody is there for a lifetime career. They're there for a short time. So our goal is to get the best work we can get out of those people for the time that we have them. And our goal is when they leave, they come back and they say, you were the best place I worked. You changed me. You helped me. And that's a goal we have, and we've seen it so much more in the last 6 months than we ever have, because every person is seen and heard, and it's no longer a team goal. We each have our own goals, kind of like Billy said. You break them down, and we have to have individual goals, personal or not. I've got a list of 6 people that when we had our team meeting, we gave out awards. We honored our friend that had passed away, gave out some fun awards. But then I said, if any of you are interested in setting some goals with your one-on-ones, but then want to share them with me, I'm happy to write them down and check in. And I check in on people for personal goals that nobody else knows about, but they come to work because they know that I see them, and they know that Chris sees them, or they know they're seen by their peers, and that it's so important. And that's how you retain people, is by remembering that they are people and not a number.
Wait, I know you're doing a good job. I don't know, we have a few ambassadors from the Twin Falls Chamber in here. So the Milner's crew recently won the Extra Mile Award, because every single person in there goes the extra mile. From the host at the front, to Chris giving a hug to everybody who walks in, to the servers. I mean, I don't walk through that building without at least 5 or 6, hey, how you doing? Hi, hello, welcome in. And everybody genuinely seems like they're happy to be there. They don't have their 9-to-5 smile face on, or they're just kind of faking it and, what can I get you? They truly seem like they really enjoy being there, and it shows. You know, it shows in the community. We recognize it, we acknowledge it, and we see what the leadership team is doing and how it's impacting everybody in the business. And it was amazing to watch your team win that award, because I feel like they all really deserved it.
That's awesome. I'm taking mental notes because of employers talking to me about trainings they need and what they need. I've developed a customer service, and it's from the other side. So like you said, often it's about communication, and it's about your side not seeing what their side. So mine approaches it from the lowest level of customer service people who sometimes feel really disconnected, like, you know, I'm just here, I'm the lowest person, to say your goals can be the company's goals, and you're the front line. You are the people who create brand loyalty for us, and to make them feel really valued, because that changes the way they interact. When they feel passion in their role in the job, that changes the way they come to work. And so I try to help with that by doing the customer service training with them, so that they take a different perspective coming in. And then the communication, it's called communication with excellence for every exchange, so something like that.
Yeah.
But just trying to help from both sides, because I do think it's about communication a lot.
I mean, I used to play the victim mentality as a leader, like, well, the industry we're in, we can't provide a lifetime career, we can't provide insurance, we can't do that, the turnover's too high. And when we stopped comparing ourselves to people who weren't in the same realm of the business that we run, and started saying, what can we provide people?
Right.
It's not all about the money, it's not all about the benefits, what can we give each individual person? And when we said to our team, I'm pretty sure most jaws dropped when we said, we recognize not all of you want to work at Milner's Gate for the rest of your life. Like, believe it or not, we don't believe that you will. But while you're here, let's make the best of it. Let's get, you know, let's help you get what you need out of it, and let's do the same. And once they all felt individually seen, it was a game changer. And it's new to us, and it's fun.
And the
It's
goals
fun.
align, and then they're empowered, because they're like, this is great, and I'm
Yes.
going to be a really good employee here because I'm gaining great skills that are going to take me to my next job. And recognizing that you know they are going to have a next job is
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
I have 5 adult children. They're young adult children, and I've seen their journeys in their work history. And you know, everybody gripes that this generation doesn't want to work, and I think you guys hit on it. It's not that they don't want to work; it's that they don't want to be exploited.
Correct.
Right? They want to be treated well. They want to feel accomplished. They want to feel valued. They want to be paid, because rent's really, really, really high. But that is really just it. This new generation, you know, for a lot of us, it was just go to work, head down, do it. Doesn't matter if you hate it or you don't. Go home, complain to your spouse, complain to your mom, complain to your friends. Go take a couple of shots of tequila and forget about everything until Monday morning, right? But this new generation is really, really, they want more than the money. They really want to feel like they're doing something, whether it's starting their own business, starting their first job, making an excellent cup of coffee, the training that you provide so that businesses can give those positive environments are just, it's invaluable. So I scrolled through and I really liked this one. Vicki and I recently did a mastermind together, and I really like this one. I want to make an impact in my community, but I feel like I'm too young. What are some good tips on getting started?
I think everyone in here is a leader. We all have, we're talking about social media. We all have people who follow us already, right? And so I think that everything that we post, everything that we share, it's being seen and it's being heard. And so, use what you have at your fingertips to grow and to have impact in the community. I think that's probably the best tool that we have right now, and we can reach in great, massive numbers through social media. And everything is personal, again. I just keep going back to Sean. But everything is personal. Like, I think that when you reach out and you really lean into someone, that makes a difference.
And you're never too young. I think that youth is something that's even, because when it's easier to get behind a 12-year-old who's raising money for a well in Africa.
Right.
I taught this to my 8th graders when I was teaching research and trying to give them projects that inspired them. It's like, do something amazing. And a lot of times we get behind kids who are doing amazing things more than we would an adult who was taking on the same thing. So I just think you're never too young to start following your passion and trying to make a difference and change the world.
And on the opposite side of that, you're really never too old.
Yes.
Amen to that.
No, you have one. Malin, damn, my wife is so freaking beautiful.
I saw it coming. I knew it was coming.
I love it.
I was gonna block his number from
He's
your
using
phone.
his resources.
Yeah. So let's talk about team building. We've talked about how to bring people in, but how do you really build a team that are gonna stay with you? We touched on it a little bit, but this one's come up a couple of times about team building. What are some steps you guys take? I mean, you can certainly speak on this. You can speak on how you support businesses building teams.
I think you just have to make people feel, you have to ignite their passion. I talked to Mark today, and Mark's skill is igniting passion. And in talking to me, he got me to identify what my passion was. I think that we need to do that and have people see that they're part of a bigger, you're not just saying, do you want fries with that? I mean, it's more. What you're doing is you're building a relationship and you're creating an impression on a customer. What did Sean say about the first impression? I mean, you're the person, even if you're the front line, first person who just opens the door, you're creating an impression of our business on everyone who walks through that door. And I think when you feel important and part of a bigger project, and everybody's talked about core values and mission, and I mean, if we share that with the people at the very lowest level and make them realize how essential they are, that, I think, to me, is what does it. I think that makes people, feel like they're part of a team. I mean, that's how they feel connected, is they just feel, they've got to feel your passion. And someone else was sharing, there's so many great examples from just today, about how a passionate guide can change everything. It was, about the Philly story. A passionate guide changed the whole perspective on that city. And I think if we become passionate guides to our business and to their role in our business, we can change their whole mindset. And that attitude and mindset is everything. That's how they define themselves as part of a team.
I also think building a team starts with you. You have to be consistent. You have to show up. You have to know the vision, the core values, and the direction your team is heading, and you have to show up for that every day. You have to lead by example. It's very easy to pinpoint how other people aren't performing or living up to the standard, but oftentimes when you stop and check yourself, you got to make sure you're doing it first. And one of the things that I'm excited about is like I keep referring to last year's summit. It really did change the trajectory of Milner's Gate, but it started with me. It started with me just being jacked up about all the content, sharing it with my team, implementing it, repeating, getting made fun of for saying some of the things that we talked about, and going on my soapboxes. But it also I believed in the people that I was talking to, and I kept sharing those things I was passionate about. But most of the time that my team started to buy in was not at work, that 8 to 5. Somebody said that earlier. That's usually not when you get the best conversation from your team or the most. It's around the fire pit. It's, at 2nd Street Market, after hours drinks or whatever that is. But those team building, bonding times are when you really learn about your team. You allow them to be heard. You have those conversations that maybe they're not as comfortable having at work. You see a little bit of their passion and their personal expertise, and then you implement them together. But it does take a team, and that's one of the things I'm looking forward to for Milner's, is doing more of that. Today ignited that, and seeing that, like, man, we might be doing it all right when we're behind or when we're in our walls, but, like, man, what could we be doing if we got together outside of that a little bit more often, got to know each other truly as people, and I feel like that's where our team will start to build.
And I think you model growing, and you model transparency. You're like, I'm taking these pieces from this conference, and we're going to build on these. And I think that makes your team feel like we're connected, because you're not perfect. You're modeling.
Yep.
I think
That's
it's
awesome.
also learning about other things that they're passionate about, or like their family, their hobbies, other skills that they might have, that they could also contribute to what they're already doing in the workplace and that they're passionate about.
I think a really practical tool for team building, Billy talked about this morning, is personality tests.
Love it.
Those are, when we implement those are so helpful with helping someone quickly identify their own strengths, their own communication styles. It helps them to self-reflect, helps them to be more self-aware in the workplace and with each other, and it gives us eyes for each other too, to not assume that you're coming at something from my perspective. Gives me a glimpse into yours. So DISC is one that's so helpful for understanding behavior. I'm a huge fan of the Enneagram, so I'm a bit of a nerd on that one, because I love that it gives us the tools for understanding core motivations and core fears. A lot of personality tests focus on behavior, which is really helpful, or communication style. Enneagram, next to one of those, is something we've been able to give our team to identify their own growth paths, and also, again, to see each other, to recognize my motivation in fixing, dealing, communicating, whatever it is. My core fear is different from yours, but I can see yours now. And so those have been wonderful tools for our team to be on the same page with each other, for our leads to be able to lead and to understand who's with them, especially paired next to prioritizing time together.
I recently had a conversation with a guy that was, upset with his coworker, and I said, well, you have options. You have you can let their actions upset you, or you have an opportunity to deal with your controllables. And how do you make that person, Team Malin? When I walk into work every day, I got to make everybody Team Malin. How do I make sure? And I can't make everybody Team Malin by telling everybody to behave like Malin, right? I have to play to their strong suits and make sure that what I'm providing for them makes them want to work with me. But that takes me understanding their personality. We were laughing. We were in the back guessing where Danny was on Billy's chart, and it was hilarious because she was polar opposite. But it's so helpful in knowing who the people are that you're working with to be able to work with them correctly. And there's going to be failure along the way, and that's okay too.
We use Strength Finders from Shelley G, and it was a really good opportunity for us to also learn, because we got together, the whole team, and we just learned about like everybody's strengths and what are your five top strengths, your lower five, or your lower five strengths, and it was just really good to like bring them together and incorporate them, and it just gives you a different insight, to your coworkers and like their processes and the way that they think and articulate and solve things.
Can we ask them a question?
Yeah, let's see if I can blow up my phone.
I bet, how many people in here have some kind of story about some form of personality test that helped you with a coworker, a spouse, saved your marriage, something? That's what I thought. So I just wanted to see that, because I thought that we all have those stories. That's awesome, and that's so important, so important. It's like the superpower of communication, to jump ahead and get one of those. It's awesome.
Well, we're almost out of time. Before we go to break, I have my own question for you. I have a few more, but I want to know this one because I struggle with it. You guys are all very, very busy entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, directors of an entire organization. You've sat here talking about how you pour into everybody else. All you give to your team, all you do for the other businesses in the community, all you do for other businesses and their coaching, everything you guys do. What do you do for yourself?
Go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Excellent.
Well, I didn't today, but most every day. I did find recently the restaurant industry has been kicking our butts since COVID. We had a recent family diagnosis with our small child, and I felt like life was getting the better of me to be able to take care of myself. And one of the things that I did was I found a program that pushed me outside of my comfort zone. It pushed me to dedicate a specific amount of days to myself. And what I learned was that time management isn't that hard, and giving yourself just a small amount of time every day to do things that are healthy for you. So, eating a good diet, drinking water, and reading books that help are ways that I get through the tough days. And it helps me reset myself to the positive side when those days do get hard.
I enjoy working out as well and wake up early, sometimes not every day, but and also I have a Spanish hip hop song that I listen to all the time when I get off of work, pop it in the car before I go home, and just like pick up my 3-year-old and put on my mom hat and just like jam out, let it all out, and then I can go be a mom when I get home.
Music and movement.
I love that.
Okay.
Music.
I start every day with just a non-negotiable of quiet time and meditation. It's just, I can't do it without it. And I used to skip it on the weekends because I didn't need it as much, and I missed a Saturday, and I'm a different person, so I have to do every day now. But that's how I just start my day with that.
There's too many people in this room for me to not acknowledge that I know this is a growth area. So, yeah, there's too many people who know me and know that this is a struggle point that I'm probably going to be working on for a long time. But
Everybody.
I think there came a point last year where I'm like, my business will never give me permission to rest. If I'm waiting for it to tell me it's okay, it's never going to. And so acknowledging my human limitations, I'm not going to ever get more than 24 hours in a day. Those aren't going to be expanding anytime soon. So what does 24 hours realistically hold? And acknowledging, those were kind of the mindset questions that I asked. And the most practical thing I do is I don't stay up late to do work anymore. It used to be get my little boy through the evening and put him to bed, and then do projects through the evening. And in some ways it feels like a failure to admit that I don't do that anymore. Like, you should be hustling harder. That voice will never shut up. It will never shut up when you leave things undone. But the truth is I'm a human with limitations of time and space, and acknowledging those is really, really important if we're going to do this well for a long time.
I'd say a tip of advice for you that somebody gave me not too long ago, and I'm still working on it because I'm the same. I feel like if I do it all myself, it will get done. I know it's done, and I think I can do a better job most of the time. But what I've learned recently is when I set boundaries and I was transparent with my team specifically, I was sort of forced into it, but to say I can't do it all, my team was quick to say, I can do some of that, and I didn't realize how many people had interest or wanted to take on things that I did all myself. And so it's okay to be vulnerable and say, these are my boundaries, this is important for me, and these are some things that I'm not able to get to sometimes. And you might be shocked at how many people say, I can take that. And if I'm being real honest, the people I work with are better at all the things I thought I was really good at. And so it's really nice to give them an opportunity for growth, but also slow myself down a little bit and really be present in moments that I was missing before.
Yeah.
And so I'm still failing most of the time, but I'm working on that. So you're not alone in feeling vulnerable and saying, I don't know yet, because it's hard.
Yeah.
I can relate with that. The first 2 years, the summit was a lot harder than this year. I actually made myself sick. And this year has been amazing because I have an incredible committee that has helped me out. And at first it was really hard to let go some of that control and delegate, but they were like, give me something to do. Let me do something. And when I released it, like, hey, can you go pick up this? Can you go do this? Anybody available for this? They did a better job than I was gonna do. And I mean, look at what's come of this team, the front row that has come together and helped us. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. I do believe it's break, so Alex is going to come out and say a little something, and we can go take these things off.
All right. Can we give a huge round of applause? Come on. Thank you all so much. You guys are free to exit. Thank you all so much.